Hello everyone, myself Anoop PKG handling electronics devices for third semester students. I'll be uploading videos of every topics weekly. Meanwhile, once in a week we'll meet online. So if you have any doubt regarding any of the lecturing classes, you can ask me directly in online meeting. Okay. So first of all, let's see what are the prescribed textbook by VTU for this course. The name of the textbook is Solid State Electronic Device by an author Benji Straitman and Sanjay Kumar, 7th edition. And second one is Semiconductor Physics and Device by an author Donald A. Neiman. And the first module is semiconductors, and topics are bonding forces in solid, energy bands, metal semiconductor and insulator. The differentiation between metal semiconductor and insulator depends on the energy band, and direct and indirect semiconductors, electrons and holes, intrinsic material, extrinsic material, conductivity and mobility, drift and resistance, effect of temperature and doping on mobility, and the Hall effect. Coming into first topic of the first module, that is binding forces in solid. So we know different types of solids: metal, plastic, paper, etc., etc. All those are solids anyway. So these solids are made up of a molecule. The molecules are connected together by a intermolecular forces inside. So when we again move inside the molecule is made up of atoms. Okay. So solids are fall into one of the four categories: ionic bonding, molecular bonding, covalent bonding, and metallic bonding. So we are more interested in covalent bonding since we are dealing with semiconductor devices in this semester. Coming into first one, that is ionic bonding. Example is salt. What is chemical name of the salt? That is NaCl. It's made up of sodium atom and chlorine atom. So made up of sodium atom and chlorine atom. Each sodium atom is surrounded by 6 nearest neighbor chlorine atoms and vice versa. So here you can see the two-dimensional view of that. You can see one chlorine atom is surrounded by 4 sodium atom, and one is right above this chlorine, one is behind this. Okay, behind this. So totally 6 neighboring atom. If you consider chlorine atom, if you consider sodium atom, 6 chlorine will be there. 1, 2, 3, 4. One is here and one is other side of that atom. The atomic number of sodium is, we know that atomic number of sodium is 11 and atomic number of chlorine is 17. And this atom, the sodium atom, can be represented using Bohr structure, orbital structure. So then when we consider as orbit, how many orbits are there depends on the atomic number. Orbits is going to change, and each orbit having energy level. Each orbit corresponds to energy level. So what are the orbits? I can write it's a 1s2, 2s2, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, and so on. So this is actually number of electrons. S orbit should have 2 electrons and p orbit should have here we have I forgot, one is 2p6, there is 2p6, then 3s2 and 3p6, 4s2. So p orbit should have 6 electron in order to get the stability. So when we consider Na, the number is 11, that 11 can write like this: 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. So 2 plus 2 plus 6 plus 1 is equal to 11. As I told you, the orbit S should have 2 electrons in order to get to stable. Okay, here we have only 1 electron, so it's not stable. So always the sodium atom searching for someone who can give 1 electron to me so that I can become stable. That's what always Na sodium atom thinks. Okay, so when we consider chlorine, it's a 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. Here also case is same. P should be then p orbit should contain 6 in order to get stable, but here it have only 5. So always this chlorine also think the same manner of sodium. If anyone is ready to give me 1 electron, I will become stable. So when I bring my Na having the last orbit is with the 1 electron and the chlorine with the last orbit is 5 electron, right? When I bring these two atoms together, what will happen? 1 electron in the 3s orbit give up to chlorine. It will give that 1 electron to chlorine, 1 electron to chlorine. If the sodium loses 1 electron, it becomes positive charge. Chlorine is receiving 1 electron, that means it become, the whole charge of chlorine atom become negative. So when I bring this, so definitely this Na plus having a electrostatic force to attract Cl, so it become NaCl. It doesn't have any charge because this plus this minus cancel each other and become a inert gas model. Okay, so that's what explained here. The Na atom gives off one outer 3s electron to chlorine atom. Na plus ion has a net positive charge because it lost an electron, and chlorine ion has a net negative charge because it's gained an electron, right? The Na plus ion exerts electrostatic attractive force upon Cl. So Na plus attract Cl minus. So that force will pull this lattice of Na, lattice together and become a molecule NaCl. But once it combine together, the outer shell of Na is stable and outer orbit of Na is completely filled and outer orbit of chlorine is completely filled. So the total configuration, the total NaCl become a inert molecule. Okay, so this type of bonding is known as ionic bonding. Next one is metallic bonding. In a metal atom, the outer electronic shell is only partially filled, usually no more than 3 electrons. Consider an example, sodium. If I write sodium orbital structure 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. So this sodium could be stable by give up one electron and become sodium ion. Or else if I bring a non-metal material like chlorine towards this Na, sodium give up one electrons to chlorine, it become NaCl and stable. Okay. So look at the second point. Na have only one electron in the outer orbit. This electron is loosely bound and it's give up easily in ion formation. So it give up this electron and become ion. So compared to this structure, ion structure is more stable. But losing one electron. So consider one sodium atom, second sodium atom, third sodium atom. It's leaving one electron and become ion. Second one also leaving one electron become ion. Third one is also leaving one electron become ion. In the metal, the outer electron of each alkali atom, nothing but our sodium atom, is contributed to the crystal as a whole. Okay, look at this figure. This is electron, this is again electron, all the blue dots are electron, and this is my sodium. A solid is made up of ions with a closed shell immersed in a sea of free electrons. There may be n number of electrons in this solid because all the sodium ion gives one electron. He frees the sodium frees one electron and become ion, and it is staying together. That bonding between this because of the positive ion cores and the surrounding free electrons. So because of this ion and free electron, that actually offers the interaction between this positive core. Okay. So as a whole solid, consider this as whole solid, right? N number of electrons are flowing inside this. That electron is responsible for temperature, transfer of temperature from one side to another, and transfer the electricity from one side to another. Basically, the flow of electron is known as electricity. Since there is no strong bond, our metal is we can convert one shape to another shape very easily. Apply a high temperature and we can change the shape of the metal. Why? How can we do that? Because the bonding is not as strong as the ionic bonding in metal. That is the basic reason. Okay. Next type of bonding is covalent bonding. In first case, we brought one metal atom and one non-metal atom. It gives ionic bonding. Second case, we brought one metal atom, the another metal atom, we got a metallic bonding. Here we are bringing one non-metal atom and another non-metal atom. So it gives a covalent bonding. So for example, consider germanium. Germanium atomic number is 32. A silicon atomic number is 14. So if I write a orbital structure for germanium is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s2, 3d10, so 2, 10, 20, 4p2. If I write about this, 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p2, 10 plus 4, yeah. So the germanium In order to become this germanium or silicon atom stable, it required 4 more atoms. Sorry, 4 more electrons. It's required 4 more electrons to the outermost orbit. Okay. So here, what is going to happen? So one silicon atom, as outer, I am drawing only the outer, this one, it having 2 electrons. It required 4 more electrons, right? So this silicon atom is sharing 1 electron from nearby silicon. It share 1 electron. It share 1 electron. Okay. Another silicon will share another electron. Second silicon. And third silicon will share third electron. And another silicon will share electron. So how many outer orbit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now the outer orbit become 6 electron and become stable. That's what I told here. That is same case of germanium as well. The germanium silicon lattice is surrounded by 4 nearest neighbors, each with the 4 electrons in the outer orbit. Okay. So in this crystal, each atom shares a valence electron with its 4 neighbors. The bonding force arises from a quantum mechanical interaction between the shared electrons. This is known as covalent bonding. So it's very simple. 4 electrons are required to become stable in the case of germanium and silicon. So silicon is going to share its electron with 4 neighbors. Similar way, other silicon atom is sharing electrons with the neighbors. So here Si, silicon. So 1 electrons of Si sharing with this silicon and 1 electrons of this, you can consider this is Si-A, this is Si-B. So 1 electrons of Si sharing with Si-A and another electrons of Si-A sharing with Si-B. So this is common to both. Here also 2 electrons, this is common to both. Also 2 electrons common to both. So 2 electron commons to both. So it become stable. This type of bonding is known as covalent bonding.